This is a video for the Dislyte boys. If you're not them, get out.
Hello and welcome back to Dislyte News. The Dislyte News for your Dislyte News. New patch coming up, and that means I'm talking about new espers yet again. So starting off, we're gonna recap the previous esper first, Elif. Elif somehow, during this phase, managed to become one of the top PvE DPS of all time, so that's cool. But the catch is, she needs to be R6 in order for her to be good. So if you can R6 her, she might be pretty good for Falsetto Fantasy. So yeah. And now we're gonna talk about the new Esper, Ossanna. Ossanna is a fighter that can use bleed. Not to be mistaken with a fighter that uses bleed. Because bleed is a debuff that kinda sucks. Okay, you're better off using poison. So for now, the main interest for Ossanna is that she has a buff that can give her up to 200% of her own attack, and that's pretty good DPS. So, you know, PvE boss content there, that could be pretty good. And R0 is honestly enough, so you might want to keep an eye on this one for a while. Then we have all the other weekly espers. For the first week, we have Ethan and Fatum Sisters. Ethan, you see him a lot in PvP. He kinda needs R2 for him to really work, and he's not really relevant these days because of Yuhime. For Fatum Sisters, she's used mostly in PvE boss content, specifically Sonica, because she can dispel buffs and also can give invincibility and speed up. She can be used a little bit in PvP because of the invincibility buff and also the revive mechanic. Overall, Fatum Sisters is pretty decent esper, but not really worth your wish stones. Now for week 2, we have Lian and Ahmed. Lian is a pretty good healer and a pretty good shielder. And with every rezo, she becomes better and better. And R6 is like the peak of Lian. Just so good. So if you can get R6, that is very worth it. On the other hand, we have Ahmed. He's a decent healer and it can also reduce the cooldown of your entire team. He's pretty good in Fafnir, little bit of use in PvP, now very little use honestly. And R2 is honestly enough for Ahmed. Anything extra is pretty much just extra. And now for week 3, we have Sakura and Yuran. Sakura is a pretty good healer and excels in both PvP and PvE. Every rezo for Sakura just makes her a lot better. So you have the wish stones to invest in Sakura, that can be really good. She's kind of almost mandatory in most Wuyu comps unless you have R6 Lian. And trust me, Sakura is really good for most content. So quite worth. On the other hand, we have Yuran. Yuran is not worth. He's only good for Fubata, and I guess if you really want him, R2 is pretty good because it can cooldown reset for flow espers, but honestly not really that worth. So yeah, that's all the espers that are coming out next patch. Next patch is kind of like a more chill patch kind of thing because we just had the summer event. The only thing that's really coming out is like hard mode for the towers, so that's cool. So yeah, share more stickers. Bye.